Hello and welcome to the Weather Studio Live from the Met Office. I'm Aidan McGibbon.
And I'm Alex Deakin.
It's Friday, 12:15. We're here again, like it or not, and we're going to be covering the weather and other stuff.
Tis traditional. Yeah, we could cover whatever you like. We're here for you guys. Let us know what you want us to cover. But yeah, we thought we'd touch on the weather.
Yeah, and feel free to send us your questions and your comments. That's the point of these. We can engage directly with you and answer whatever you want answer. We've got some questions already that we're going to tackle in the next few minutes.
Give us the thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button. Please do so. And if you haven't hit subscribe, then do that as well. How many subscribers have we got on YouTube?
Ooh, last time I looked, 336,000 or thereabouts.
So,
Might be 337.
337,000 people, can't be wrong. Join the throng and subscribe to our channel.
Get us up to 1 million, we get another plaque. Can you see the plaque?
That would be good.
Well, you might see it in a minute, but we get another YouTube plaque.
When we get to 1 million.
This is what I'm holding out for. Not going to quit. Not going to quit asking you to subscribe until we get that.
2/3 of 1 million to go.
Easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
Exactly. I mean, this is drawing them in right now. Yeah, subscribers going. Go. But yes, please do ask us anything you like about weather, about climate, what you're up to this weekend. Already had some people asking questions about getting married next weekend. So it was my wedding anniversary this week.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. 19 years. So yeah, that was exciting. What else have you been up to this week?
Just been at work, really. What
have you been doing at work? It wasn't
Oh, right.
What have you been doing at the Met Office? I mean, you can tell us all about
the Met Office. We were talking about thunderstorms at the start of the week, weren't we? There were plenty of those, not affecting everyone, of course, but there were some really serious storms out there on Monday and Tuesday. And then we've been talking about the sunshine ever since. We've been keeping an eye on the sunshine stats.
Oh, yeah.
News just in. It is already the UK's 4th sunniest spring on record. So even if there was no more sunshine for the rest of spring,
spoiler alert, there will be.
Then it would be the 4th sunniest, not far off. The 3rd, only an hour in that. And so far we've recorded 529 hours of sunlight this spring, which is, incredibly, more than the whole of meteorological summer last summer. So this spring is already, up to this point, sunnier than the whole of last summer. You might not be surprised to hear that, of course.
That is amazing, really, when you think about it. And yeah, we're up to 4th and we're climbing the ranks. As you say, almost 2 weeks still left to go. So yeah, it is going to be interesting. No, more than 2 weeks to go, isn't it? Yeah. 2 weeks to go. Saturday. It's 2 weeks tomorrow, isn't it? The end of the month. So yeah, we are climbing. So we've been checking those stats out, haven't we? It's been.
We'll be checking it daily, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see it climb up the rankings. But the #1 sunniest spring on record, 2020, that would take some beating because it was incredible how much sunshine that spring recorded. It was sunnier than the vast majority of summers. So yeah. That's something that we'll be keeping you updated on.
It's also been very dry, hasn't it? And a very warm spring and May. So yeah, lots of stats.
If we get very little rain for the rest of the month, then it would be the driest on record. But that's a big if, because changes are being signalled.
There is a whiff of a signal of a change, of a hint of something.
We'll be covering that.
So we'll be looking at that, yeah, in greater detail. Now, speaking of sunshine, highlight for me this week. Well, I had 2 big highlights this week, but speaking of sunshine, a drop of sunshine came into the office. Well, 2 drops of sunshine came into the office, didn't they?
Yeah.
See what I've done there? On Tuesday, we can show you a picture of who came into the office on Tuesday. And there she is with baby Parker. So yeah, baby Parker and Annie came into the office on Tuesday, so that was exciting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was Alex Burkill.
A very cuddly baby. Laughed at our silly faces.
He did. He laughed a lot.
We were very popular with Parker, weren't we?
We were incredibly popular. Look, there's Mr. B holding.
More of a suspicious look from Parker there.
Yeah. When he was with Alex B, yeah, he was. He was much more into our funny faces, wasn't he? And there's Honor holding baby Parker as well. So yeah, that was a treat. So Annie's on maternity leave. She'll be back in the autumn for those missing Annie. Probably won't be bringing Parker with her for any deep dive soon. But we thought we'd show you a picture of baby Parker because that was a real highlight. Honor made brownies. That was another highlight of the week.
Oh yeah.
Honor made brownies. She's promised to make brownies every Friday. for Weather Studio. Every time she's on Weather Studio Live, it's like a cookery feature, I think.
Okay.
So keep your eyes peeled for that. And one more highlight. Well, no, two more highlights. I had loads of highlights this week. On Wednesday was a sad day because we said goodbye to Emma. Now, you guys don't know who Emma is, but she's always working behind the scenes. She's one of our big players in the content team, and she's leaving. So we had a bit of a leaving drinks, didn't we? And she's on the quiz today. So we thought we'd say goodbye. Put all your good wishes to Emma in the chat because she's an absolute legend. She's doing the quiz today, but she's really integral in what we do here at the Met Office, and she's leaving us. So that was a sad occurrence on Wednesday night. But we went out and had a few celebratory drinks, didn't we?
We did. It's drowned our sorrows.
We did.
And we were a bit tired yesterday, but we got on with the job.
We did.
Like professionals.
We did. Right, one more highlight from this week, because we haven't had enough yet. Deep dive. You talked about it, but the deep dive on Tuesday, we covered the thunderstorms, because there were a lot of them. People fascinated by thunderstorms, so I kind of went a little bit, tried to get a bit more detail into the thunderstorms. Another big shout out to Dan Holly, who is the Deputy Chief, who is in again today, actually. He gave me a lot of really useful information about those thunderstorms. We can play a little clip from the deep dive now, I think. And one thing I want to point out here, this little line that just breaks out here is an outflow. So these showers here are generating, again, pushing an outflow out. Where the showers, you've got the cooler air that's condensing, that's pushing down through the thunderstorm, and that's moving out, and that's hitting, and then rising again as you get that outdraft. It's a bit like a cold front generating ahead of it. So these are outdraft showers. There's a line of them there. Just about make it out in there. And there's a really faint one just outside of London there as well. So some really interesting meteorology going on as these showers were building and decaying, generating their own outflow and generating their own little bits of weather, little extra then areas of showers too. So it's slightly different to the back building, but it's again just an example of how thunderstorms breed other thunderstorms.
Great hand movements. I don't know what you're saying because we can't hear it in here.
Look, I was doing some kind of magic trick, didn't it?
Yeah, all you need is the hand movements. Doesn't matter what you're saying. So yeah, check that out. It's really interesting because I did watch it and yeah.
Did you?
Some of it.
But yeah, big shout out to Dan Holly again, who gave me a lot of help and advice on that one. We get a lot of help and advice from the meteorologist in the operations centre, and yeah, we couldn't do this without them. So big thanks to them.
A few questions about showers and thunderstorms and so on. This is from last week. John Van Emenis had asked, when you refer to showers, does that strictly mean that when the rain falls from bubbly cumulus or cumulonimbus clouds? What about stratocumulus? Thank you for the entertaining and informative show. Yeah, you're right, actually, John. When we refer to showers, strictly speaking, it's a type of convective rain, so it falls from those bubbly clouds that form through rising air currents and so on. And, you know, cumulus, cumulonimbus. Stratocumulus is, would that be a shower?
I mean, yeah, there's two different types, isn't there? When you learn meteorology, you learn the two different types, like convective or dynamic from a weather front. But yeah, stratocumulus is kind of that in between, isn't it? You don't often get a lot of rain from stratocumulus because it's generally not thick enough to produce it, but it can. And there's a question mark because sometimes you get that drizzly stuff, don't you, which is kind of on and off. And technically speaking, that's not a shower because it's from stratiform, it's from layered cloud rather than the bubbly cumulus cloud. But as presenters, we often would talk about that in a showery term because that's how people experience, because it's kind of be on and off. It's not raining all day. I think there's that interpretation between how people think of showers, which is kind of off and on, rather than more persistent rain, which is kind of a broadly, but yeah,
and there's the confusing fact that you can have a rain from a convective cloud that lasts for hours, which the public would think of as persistent rain, and equally you could have what we might call in the industry intermittent rain, but the public would call showery rain. So intermittent rain from a weather front that's kind of broken up and fragmented.
Yes. So meteorologically, you're absolutely correct. But from an interpretation point of view, and from when sometimes we are giving presentations, we kind of would mix it up a little bit, and it's how people would perceive it.
Good question.
Really good question.
And similar theme, is it possible to estimate the amount of rain in clouds, such as maximum and minimum? That's from Jimmy J3894.
You've been doing some research into this morning, haven't you?
Yeah, and I'd say
Quite interesting.
the best way to answer that is not necessarily to estimate the amount of rain in clouds, but something that meteorologists do use, which is something called precipitable water. And that's basically figuring out the amount of water that could possibly be squeezed out of a column of air, and that would give you the maximum amount of water that you'd get from a shower cloud, for example. So you can measure precipitable water from satellites, and we get it in our computer model. The computer models precipitable water, and that will tell you. So I looked up today's forecast precipitable water across the UK, and it's 10 to 15 millimetres, which isn't that much. And that basically tells you that if, and it's unlikely today, a shower were to occur in any one spot, then the maximum amount of air that you could extract from that column of air is the maximum amount of water that you could extract is 10 to 15 millimetres. So that's basically saying in that column of air in the troposphere, the weather slice of atmosphere, in the lowest slice of atmosphere in our the lowest layer in our atmosphere.
That's what you're trying to say, yeah.
That gives us our weather. We'll edit that out for people to watch it and catch up. Now, what was I talking about? The maximum amount of water that you could squeeze out of the column is 10 to 15 millimetres, but on a particularly humid day where you've got lots of showers and thunderstorms around, then meteorologists can use that value to figure out the highest risk areas for flooding. So they can say, wow, the precipitable water is 40 millimetres in that column of air, and it's in this location where it's highest, and that's where the greatest risk of flooding is. So yeah, precipitable water is the
it's often
value.
called Poit, isn't it?
P-watt, isn't it?
I call it Poit.
Okay.
P-watt, Poit. What's the P-watt today? Helen Lyons is worried because Emma's leaving. There's going to be no more lives. No, Helen, no. We'll keep doing the lives.
They won't be as good.
They won't be as good, obviously, because Emma's won't be here. But we will keep doing the lives. We promise. So tell your friends. Hit that like button and tell your friends so we can keep doing the lives.
Andy from Oldham, are we going to get much rain in Manchester next week? Any signs of high pressure making a return in the future?
Well, yeah.
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes is the short answer to those
yes
questions.
And maybe.
Yes and probably. They're the answers that you wanted to hear. Shall I talk about it over here with the big board? Let's talk about what the weather's doing. Because, yeah, there's plenty to discuss, as always. I might get the pen for this as well at some point. Because, yeah, I guess everyone's wanting to know the answer to the question, when will the spring sunshine come to an end? And will we see any rainfall in the next week or so? And, well, we are starting to see a shift in the weather patterns. What we've seen for a while now is high pressure dominating. This is the bigger picture. And if we zoom out and give it even bigger picture, you can see what the jet stream's doing. And it's meandering down to the south, up here, arching over the UK and dipping down to the south. And we call this an omega block, a block, because the jet stream is doing this, and that, as well as looking a bit like an octopus, is also the Greek capital letter omega. So this is called an omega block when we get this pressure pattern and this pattern in the upper atmosphere with the jet stream, and it's hard to shift it. That's why it's called a block, because when you get this set up, nothing really moves very quickly, and that's what we've seen for the past week or so. It's allowed high pressure to be sitting over us. Now sometimes we're sitting in this part under the low pressure systems, and it can be raining all the time, and that can, give spells of rain for a number of days. But at the moment we're under this area of high pressure, and that is going to stick around through the weekend. Saturday still has that pattern, still has the high pressure nearby. By the time we get to Sunday, though, we're starting to see a little bit of a change. High pressure still in control. Most places Saturday and Sunday will bring fine and sunny weather. But notice in here, where the jet stream is, it's just starting to kink in a little bit. Down here, it's not as obvious. Still out here, it's up and round, and it's still an omega block, but just that little kink in there is giving rise to subtle changes. And this area of low pressure out here is kind of being drawn in just with that bend of the jet stream, generating a little trough and introducing a bit more moisture, and as this low pressure gets a little closer. So there is a possibility late in the day on Sunday of seeing a few showers. But as we go through into next week, notice that pattern is changing. The whole thing is becoming more ragged. Instead of being a loop down here, you've now got the jet kind of splitting. It's kind of got a cut off here and an area up here, and it just gets messier and messier as we go through into next week. We've no longer got that really obvious omega block, and we're starting to introduce a bit more instability in the atmosphere, a bit more moisture. So there's an increasing chance of seeing a little bit more in the way of rainfall. Now initially it's just going to be a few showers, but as we saw earlier this week, they could be on the heavy side. This is showing the probability of seeing just 1 millimeter of rainfall through this weekend and through next week. Now initially just a few patches here and there where we could see some showers. Sunday, small chance, Monday and Tuesday. And if we play it a little bit, we'll get a closer look at this, because this is Sunday's chart. There's just a hint, a small chance of seeing a few showers over Scotland and northern England late in the day. But if we fast forward to the following weekend, the following Saturday, now the pressure pattern's changed. This is low pressure. This is averaging over all the ensembles from the European model. Now we've got low pressure sitting here. The winds are now coming in from the west or the southwest, as opposed to the north or the northeast that they are now. Now the probabilities have increased much more broadly, particularly in the west, signaling this is the week on Saturday, 24th, that we are more likely to see that change coming in by the time we get to that following weekend. So there are signs here. Just going to go back to the shower risk and show you the uncertainty within that. These are the three main computer model runs that we look at, computer models that we look at. Met Office one here, European one here, and the American one, GFS here. And these are the amounts, rainfall totals we could see on Tuesday, or between 12 o'clock Monday and 12 o'clock on Tuesday, showing where those showers could be, and they're really not agreeing. So when they don't agree, when there's not a lot of consistency here, we don't have a lot of confidence in the forecast. Now with showers, they're always hit and miss. We can never really pinpoint them down until the day. So it's not that unusual, but it is quite unusual to have such a big spread. So yeah, there is the chance of some showers as we go through the early part of next week, but for most places, the dry and the sunny weather will continue at least into the middle of next week, but there's a stronger signal of a change as we go towards the end of next week. And these are the different weather regimes, dates going along the bottom here, and the blocking pattern, the dark red, well, that is in control through this weekend and to the start of next week. But just because you've got blocking area doesn't mean you can't get some showers. As we've seen, there is the chance of those showers. But just look, as we go through the second half of next week, it kind of narrows down, it kind of funnels down, doesn't it? That dark red shrinks, and the blues, certainly by the time we get towards the following weekend, bank holiday weekend, the blues are now taking control. So an increased chance of seeing more shower, more unstable air, more low pressure systems in control or close by to the UK by the time we get to Sunday, 25th. Much more likely that low pressure is going to be sitting here. That's the most likely pressure pattern. Second most likely one down here actually has the low sitting over us. Now, this is still over a week away. It's a bank holiday weekend, so it's a 3-day weekend. It's not going to rain all weekend, or it's very unlikely to, but it does mean an increased chance of seeing some rainfall. Good news if you're after rainfall, and you know, a lot of people have been talking about how dry it has been. It has been, as we discussed, a very dry May so far. So yes, good news if you're after some rainfall. Maybe not great news if you've got plans for the bank holiday weekend, but the devil will be in the details. So just keep up to date. It just means a change of flavour of our weather. It's just not going to be sunny everywhere like it has been. We are going to see some changes as we head towards that next weekend. Any more questions coming in?
On that weekend, Ania from Wales, are there any indications of what part of the weekend the rain is going to arrive? Getting married. They're getting married that Saturday, hoping for dry weather.
Saturday 24th. Well, whatever the weather, it will be a wonderful day. That's what we always say.
You answered that kind of question before.
I've answered that question. And getting married in May is the greatest time to get married, because it was my wedding anniversary just this week. So yes, you will have a wonderful day and you will have a fabulous time. But there is quite a strong signal. This is another way of looking at this. Is looking at all the models, all the ensembles, probability, pressure trend. We show these in the 10-day trend and the deep dive quite a lot. Red is high pressure, boom, dominating through most of next week. Blue is low pressure, and you see that switch over. Now, this is quite important because we're going back in time here over previous computer model runs, and it's consistent. That switch over right at the end of next week is really consistent. By the time you get out here, it's much patchier, you see, but so you see that switch over. So that's why we're pretty confident we are going to see a change in type of our weather. But the exact day and the exact form that we get, that's, it's too early for details. This kind of range, we're talking 4 or 5 days to give local details of weather on a particular day. Beyond that, we're talking about different flavors of weather, and that's why these charts work so well. They're different when you kind of pigeonhole the different types of weather that we could see, because even now on Saturday, that could be, you could have the Azores high extending in. That's still one of the most likely scenarios. There's a 20% chance of that, and that would bring a lovely day to Wales if that were the one. So yeah, for the details, if you're getting married next week, ask us again middle of next week, and we'll have more details. But it does look like we're going to see a change. But in terms of details, whether it rains on your wedding day, it's too soon to say. But even if it does, you'll have a great day. In fact, you want it a bit cloudy because it's better for the light.
Yeah, more flattering pictures.
More flattering
definitely.
Pictures,
yeah.
Exactly.
That's what my sister tells me. She's a wedding photographer, so she knows.
Oh, well, there you go. Is she available for hire? She's in Wales, is she as well?
Only in July. No, because she lives in New Zealand.
Oh, okay, different system.
Yeah.
Right.
But Gordon has asked, is the jet stream over the States influencing our future weather?
That's an interesting one. Let's have a look at what the jet stream's doing. Is that Gordy B? Or is it different Gordon?
Gordon.
Just Gordon, okay. What is the jet stream doing? Well, it's kind of a little bit active here. It's not particularly strong, but then it's that time of year. It's kind of splitting and it's arching up. I mean, it all drives the dip down here, which is then part of that omega block we talked about. So, I mean, it's all linked, but I'm not seeing any dramatic changes in the US. What you can often see in the US this time of year is when you get big thunderstorms, and that can actually interact with the jet stream because thunderstorms go all the way up through the atmosphere. So a lot of the time we talk about the jet stream driving the weather at low levels, but obviously it's a fluid and everything interacts with everything. And particularly when you get big thunderstorms going up from the surface up to the top, that can influence the jet stream. But at the moment, there's no strong signal for any big changes. The jet's not really doing much across the United States because it's glowing all the way around. If we can take a look at from above, then you can imagine if you've got a block in here, then it's going to block the patterns elsewhere as well. So it's all kind of interlinked, but there's no strong signal of anything in the US dramatically giving everything a shove or a shunt, because that can happen, particularly in the winter if you get really cold air driving south. That can shunt the jet stream around and that can shift a block further down. But we're not really seeing that. The block is just kind of breaking down.
Good answer. And breaking news, it is Gordy B.
It is Gordy B. Oh, good. A regular viewer. Thank you to all our regular viewers. We get it's nice to have these regular viewers. Get nice comments, lovely comments from people like Gordon. There was lovely comments on the deep dive this week as well. I meant to say that at the start as well. There were some very nice comments on that. So thank you very much. We do read them.
Yeah. And you'll like this question actually from Chazandolfi. It might be Chazandol.
Chazandol LFC.
Chazandol, yeah, because it's related.
It's related to.
Hope the weather is going to be okay for Liverpool's trophy parade on the 26th.
Well, it might be changing by then, mightn't it? So it could be changing. It'll be dry and sunny for their away game at Brighton on Monday. Oh, it's just Monday evening, so it won't be sunny because it'll be in the evening. But yeah, by the time we get to, that's the 26th, isn't it?
Yeah.
You knew that. Yeah, so that goes back to the probabilistic. We're going to see that flip. So low pressure is more likely to be in control. 25th, isn't it? Sunday the 25th. Yeah, the most likely pressure pattern's coming in from the west. So we could see some showery rain, but I doubt it'll dampen I think there's about 1 million people expected in Liverpool for the parade.
Right, blimey.
Oh, the parade's on the Monday. Yeah, the parade is on the Monday.
Yeah, that's what Chazando.
Yes. Sorry, the last game of the season's on the Sunday. The parade is on the Monday, But again, the most likely weather patterns are stuff coming in. So it could be a bit showery, but it'll be good fun.
Are you going?
I don't think so. It's my wife's birthday the day before and my daughter's birthday the day after. So it's going to be a bit tricky to get out for the day up to Anfield. But
Right, just announce it now and you'll have to go.
here on the live. Yeah, I'm not sure my wife watches the live. But yeah, sadly I don't think I'll be able to make it.
Right, should we do a quiz?
Yes, let's do a quiz. Boom.
That was smooth. I think I started saying something and forgot. That
Every time.
every time.
Every time we do that,
Yeah.
we have a really good link, don't we, to the quiz, and then we can't. Yeah,
We
just
forget.
we just disappear.
So what I was saying is it's sunshine themed this week because sunshine's the hot topic, and 5 questions, multiple choice. Join in at home, please do, and let us know how you're getting on. Emma, for the final time, will be posting the questions in the chat, and so you'll be able to see the questions and the answers, and we'll let you know how you're doing as we go along.
I'm going to answer as well, so I haven't seen the questions. I don't know what this. I'm going to ping Aidan my answers via Teams.
Okay, question number 1. What is the sunniest city in the world?
In the world,
Yeah.
do I get multiple choice?
There is a multiple
few.
choice, yeah. Is it Marsa Alam in Egypt, Yuma, Arizona, Nicosia in Cyprus, or Dubai, UAE? Egypt, Arizona, Cyprus, Dubai. They're all sunny cities. And while you're guessing, I will let you in. I'll get a little bit of a hint. Each of those are the sunniest cities in their individual continents. So Marsa Alam is the sunniest city in Africa. Yuma is the sunniest city in the USA. Nicosia is the sunniest city in Europe.
Is it? That's interesting.
And Dubai is the sunniest city in Asia. So which of them tops the global rankings? That's the question. I can't see what people are saying, but
I've answered,
you've answered.
but yeah.
Chazando LFC wants to beat 4 out of 5. Guessing that was last week's. Quite a few people are saying Dubai. Quite a few people. Dubai. You'd think it would be Dubai, wouldn't you?
I've not been to Dubai. Not that influences my own. In fact, I've not been to. I've been to Nicosia. Yeah.
Jen Mack, got to be Arizona. It is famously sunny in Arizona, isn't it? Jack,
little fluffy
Egypt.
clouds.
Mark Vogan, Egypt. Good answers, keep them coming in. John Francis Campbell invented a sunshine recorder known now as the Campbell-Stokes sunshine recorder because it was later modified by Mr. Stokes. When he invented the sunshine recorder, what was his day job? Was he an MP? Was he a farmer? Was he an author of Gaelic folklore? Or was he the 8th Duke of Argyll? So what was his day? His day job wasn't inventing sunshine recorders.
Being the 8th Duke of Argyll.
Presumably you get a salary, I don't know.
It would have been he should have been a mystic.
Oh,
Or a mystic
Meg.
Mystic Meg, because he could have used could have doubled up. Maybe that's, you've got a Mystic Meg.
Should have
ball,
put that as one of the
and
options.
then all of a sudden, you should have put that.
Okay. So
Right, we'll give me them again, because I...
John Francis Campbell invented a sunshine
just give me the
recorder.
options.
MP, farmer, author of Gaelic folklore, or 8th Duke of Argyll.
Author of Gaelic football.
Folklore,
Oh,
not
folklore.
football.
Why did you... I mean, you must have... Presumably you've come up with some of these answers yourself.
3.
So, yeah.
Yes.
It's trying to work backwards. Which one have you made up? Which ones have you made up?
A lot of people are suggesting farmer. Farmers care a lot about the weather.
Well,
Good guess.
yeah, but that's my thinking is you've made that up because of that. Because that's...
Beth Scammell, Gaelic folklore. How long did it take to come up with these options, Chris asks.
Very good point, Chris. Very good point.
Someone at Mike has asked, is being a Duke a job? So
with
yeah,
you.
that's
I'm tuned into you. The audience are agreeing with me.
farmer
Yeah.
looks like the most popular
Oh,
answer
does
there.
it?
Okay.
I'm disagreeing again.
What colour is the sun in space? Is it yellow, red, white, or blue? If you left our atmosphere, what colour would the sun appear? Yellow, red, white, or blue?
Well, okay.
Did you cover this in the astrophysics
My
degree?
astrophysics degree. No, yeah. Does your colourblind play into this at all?
I haven't
Is
gone
this-
into space
You
and had a look.
You haven't
and that's how
verified
I know.
yourself. Okay, good. Just to clarify. There was something on the news this week about an astronaut I was quite interested in. She was training for a spacewalk in a pool or something. She passed with flying colours.
White is a popular answer.
That's what, yeah. That's
Liam
it's either white
Parker,
or
Mark
yellow, I
Vaughan
would
gone
think,
with
or-
yellow, and someone else went with red. Where were they? Red. Christopher Inshaw. Jack has asked if we're okay. Are you okay, you two? Yes, thank you. 66 people went with white.
Jack, what do you mean, Jack? Let us know what you mean, Jack. Are you not enjoying the
Okay,
bants?
final question. No,
Final question.
fourth
question.
Fourth question.
Keeping Emma on her toes for a final day, aren't you?
The UK's sunniest spring on record, that's 2020, we talked about it earlier, had more sunshine than the dullest 2 springs on record combined. Is that true or is it false? So the sunniest spring on record, 2020, had more sunshine than the dullest 2 springs in the UK on record. Is that true or false?
I think, yeah. I mean, it was, as you said, it was exceptionally sunny. 2020. Like, it broke the record by a wide way, doesn't it? There's a big gap currently between
Yeah.
second and first.
True, must be true. I can't remember, says Matt. Lots of
No one's
true.
expecting you to remember, Matt, I don't think.
Okay, final question.
Was this the one you changed? You changed one, didn't you, in the last minute?
I did, yeah, because I'd made the
Again,
error.
just to keep Emma on her toes.
What is the highest level of UV solar radiation ever recorded on Earth? And actually, this was inspired by a question that we had in. I'll just go back to that question, so we haven't answered it yet. A question that we had in about how high UV, here we go, weather follower at Met Office, can the UK ever get a UV rating of extreme? If not, why? And how close have we got to a UV of extreme? That's 11. So extreme UV is 11, right? My question is, how high is the highest on record
Globally or in the UK?
globally?
Right.
And the answers are 12 UVI, that's the UV index, 18, 24, or 43. Highest UV index ever recorded on Earth, is it 12, 18, 24, or 43?
Wow, that's quite a range. Well, yeah, I've gone for my answer.
A level above 11 indicates extreme risk of harm.
Yeah, so it goes high, doesn't it? It's high at the moment for much of the UK. 6s and 7s are high. It's 6 generally across the UK at the moment. A few 7s in the south.
You can get up to 8.
I've seen it at 8.
I think there's been a 9 in the far southwest in the middle of summer.
Or maybe in the Channel Islands.
It doesn't just depend on the strength of the sun and the time of year and the cloud. It also depends on the amount of ozone in the atmosphere, which does vary depending on, again, weather conditions and time of year. So there are a number of factors involved, but it is possible, I believe, to get a 9.
Yeah, I don't think we could
Very
ever get. I
isolated.
don't think we could ever get 11. And it's to do with the elevation and how much light gets through. And I made a video about UV we've posted and talked about here before. We'll put the link to that in the chat, I think, as well, so you can watch that about UV. It doesn't really talk about going up to 11, but it's unlikely, very unlikely in the UK to get to 11, as you say. 7s and 8s generally to be the peak, and of course the peak is around the solstice, third week of June, and not related to the temperatures. But they are related to other factors, like, as you said, the amount of ozone in the atmosphere, etc. Good questions, though. Really good questions this week. Thank you for all of those. Keep them coming in. Say, even if you're not watching this live, watching it back, still ping us a question. Ask us anything on any of our formats, really, whether it be the live or the deep dive or the 10-day trend, because we do read a lot of those comments as well. So if you've got further questions, you can always put them in that. Make sure you're following us across the rest of social media as well. TikTok will be live on TikTok this afternoon. And we have a WhatsApp channel. So if you're on WhatsApp, you can follow us in there, the community tab, and we post a lot of what we put out on YouTube, so it's an easy way to keep up with the links. And of course, yeah, you want to be following us on, you want to subscribe to us here on YouTube and boost those numbers, and let's make Aidan reach his dream of getting to 1 million followers.
You would make my year if you did that. You really would. Should we talk about the answers?
Let's do the answers. Come on.
There were some I'm not going to say trick questions, but tricky questions in there. Oh. It wasn't straightforward. I apologise. Now, the first one was quite straightforward. Actually, 51% of people got the correct answer there. What did you say for the first one? I said
Egypt.
Oh, you were wrong, I'm afraid.
Oh, is it Dubai?
No, it's Yuma in Arizona. Yuma.
Oh, Yuma in Arizona.
Mm.
Oh.
Congratulations to 51% of you, including Beth Scammell.
How much sunnier is it there then than in what's the difference? What are the numbers?
I haven't got that written down in front of me.
Okay.
I'll post it in the comments later.
Put it in the comments later. Yeah. Was Egypt second?
I haven't got that in front of me. Look, if you want this information,
I'll look it up later. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
John Francis Campbell invented the sunshine recorder, but what was his day job? 56% of you said farmer, which sounds like the sensible choice, but it wasn't. It wasn't a farmer. 21% of you said the 8th Duke of Argyll, which sounds like the sort of thing that I wouldn't make up, but it wasn't that either.
Oh, that's what I thought.
16% of people said MP, which he wasn't an MP, but his dad was. So his dad was an MP, and he himself worked briefly for the 8th Duke of Argyll, but his main day job was as an author of Gaelic folklore. So congratulations to the 6%.
Wow, was that the lowest percentage? Oh, well done, people. 6%.
That was tricky.
I mean, yeah, who knew? I'd like to read some of his stuff.
What colour is the sun in space? You guessed correctly this one. It is white.
Got one right.
It's the atmosphere that causes it to appear yellow. So once you leave the atmosphere, all the colours combined make it white.
Good. Phew.
The UK's sunniest spring on record had more sunshine than the dullest 2 springs on record combined. True or false? 83% of people said it was true. I'm sorry, it's not true. It sounds like the sort of thing I'd come up with, doesn't it? That is true. Yeah. But they were close. They were close. So the sunniest spring on record had 626 hours of sunshine. That's back in 2020. If you combine the dullest 2, you come up with 678 hours of sunshine, so there's 50 hours or so difference. Do apologise for that one.
Good question. Good.
And then the final question was, what's the highest, and this is a very tricky question, right? Which is the highest level of UV radiation ever recorded on Earth? 46% of you said 24, 20% said 18, neither of those are correct. 13% of people said 12. That's not correct either. 19% got the correct answer of 43, which was, and this is why it's a tricky question. 43. It's because it was measured at the top of a Bolivian volcano when the volcano erupted and sent a load of ozone-destroying chemicals into the atmosphere, and some astrobiologists measured it to be 43.
Wow.
So, the UV level soared because of this unusual...
That's not really a...
Okay. It's in the Guinness Book of Records, though.
There you go, then. There you go. Yeah, that's quite interesting, actually. So the volcano destroyed the ozone. Helen got 0. Gabrielle, our German watcher. Hello, Gabrielle. Got the same as me. Well done, Gabrielle. 1 out of 5. 20%, that's poor. Renee Matthews also got 1 out of 5. Well done if you got. Well done.
If you got 2 or 3, you did well.
Yeah. It was a tricky one this week. Lots of curveballs. Liam Parker's had a nightmare. Oh, don't be sad, Liam. Just don't be sad that you scored 0. Just be happy there was a quiz at all. But don't be sad. Come back next week and you'll get more. I predict, definitely. I predicted my score perfectly. 3 out of 5. Jen, well done, Jen. Not only getting 3 out of 5. I mean, 3 out of 5 is good, but actually predicting yourself to get that's good. Beth also got 3 out of 5. Oh, first time watcher, Beth. Yes, thank you, Beth. Thank you for being there. Share the love. Let other people know that we're on here and that we do this every week. Keep your questions coming in as well. And if you are watching it live, like Alex B is, will your quiz be easier next week, Alex? It's me and Mr. Burkill next week, the 2 Alexes. I mean, I can't promise anything.
He's not told us what he's got.
No, he hasn't, has he? That's interesting. That's noteworthy. Mr. B hasn't said what he got. But it's good that he's watching. And then the week after, Honour's promising cakes. So, you know, there's all kinds of treats to look forward to in the next few Weather Studio lives. But is that about it?
I think so.
I think that's about it. Do keep your questions coming. One more big goodbye to Emma. Big shout out to Greg, who's next door, making us look good, setting everything up, doing all the cuts and everything like that. So thank you very much for doing it, Greg, this week. He's been all on his own pretty much, although George has been helping out a little bit as well. So thank you for that, you two. And yes, thank you very much, Emma, for all the memories. And good luck.
And thank you to you for watching and for spreading the news of this live. I know a few of you said that you'd be doing that. And yeah, please do join us again next time.
Goodbye.